What if your pain could become your power? This is the story of David Goggins and how he became unstoppable. Welcome to Beyond the Cover, where we uncover life-changing lessons from powerful books. Chapter 1, The Childhood from Hell. Theme, trauma, survival, emotional scars, facing your past. David Goggins doesn't open his story with success. He opens it with pain, and not the kind you read about in self-help books, the kind that scars your mind for life. He was born into chaos in Buffalo, New York. His father, Toughness Goggins, was a violent nightclub owner who valued control, power, and appearances over his own family. David, along with his older brother and mother, lived under a constant cloud of abuse and fear. At just 6 years old, David's world was already filled with violence. He was beaten regularly, not just spanked or disciplined, brutally beaten. His mother, too, his older brother as well. And all of it happened in silence, behind closed doors, while Toughness played the role of a respectable businessman in public. But the abuse wasn't just physical. It was psychological. Every night, young David was forced to clean and work at his father's roller disco club until midnight or later. He wasn't allowed to sleep properly. He couldn't concentrate in school. He was a child trapped in an adult's violent world, powerless, confused, and afraid. His mother eventually made the courageous decision to flee. She took David and escaped the house of pain, leaving Toughness and the physical abuse behind. But as Goggins would later reflect, just because you escaped the place doesn't mean you've escaped the pain. Life after escaping. Their escape didn't lead to peace. They moved to Brazil, Indiana, a predominantly white, conservative town where young Goggins faced constant racism, bullying, and exclusion. He was called names, mocked, threatened, not just by kids, but by adults too. Teachers and coaches looked the other way. His school performance suffered. His stutter became worse. He began to develop anxiety, fear, and self-doubt. He internalized the idea that he was lesser, both because of his skin color and because of his broken upbringing. He began to withdraw. His self-esteem collapsed. He pretended to be someone else, lied to others, and even lied to himself just to survive. He felt like he didn't belong anywhere. The lasting impact. These early experiences shaped his self-image. A broken boy, a failure, someone not worth much. Goggins learned to hide his emotions. He learned to wear a mask. He never cried, never shared, never showed weakness, because weakness meant pain. But what makes this chapter powerful isn't just the pain. It's Goggins' reflection on what that pain taught him. He says, "You will never learn from people who only tell you what you want to hear. I've learned the most from people who were hard on me. Life was hard on me, and I learned to be hard back." Life Core message of Chapter 1. You can't run from your past. You can't bury it, escape it, or forget it. It will follow you, unless, and only unless, you face it head-on. Goggins teaches us that we all carry baggage, trauma, pain, fear, but very few of us ever take the time to look it in the eye. Key lessons from Chapter 1. Face your demons. Healing begins by confronting the truth, not avoiding it. Victim mentality is a trap. Life will be unfair, but it's your responsibility to rise anyway. Pain can be a teacher. Goggins didn't choose his childhood, but he chose what to do with it. Don't let your past define you. You are not your trauma, unless you allow it to control you. Chapter 2, The Calloused Mind. Theme, discipline, self-transformation, mental rewiring. After surviving years of trauma, David Goggins didn't step straight into greatness. In fact, the man who would one day become known as the toughest man alive was at one point overweight, depressed, and completely directionless. He had escaped abuse. He had survived racism. But now, in his early 20s, he was stuck in a different kind of hell. The quiet, invisible hell of a wasted life. Life is a ghost. David was working night shifts as a pest exterminator, wearing a heavy spray pack on his back, crawling through greasy kitchens and filthy fast food joints to kill cockroaches and rats. It was exhausting, degrading work. He hated every second of it. Every morning, he'd stop at a gas station for donuts and chocolate milk, a reward for getting through another miserable night. By now, he weighed nearly 300 pounds. He had high blood pressure, little energy, and no confidence left. He describes himself during this time as a ghost. Not really living, just existing. The turning point. Then one night, something changed. He saw a TV program about the Navy SEALs, elite soldiers pushing their bodies and minds through impossible challenges. They were diving into icy oceans, carrying boats on their backs, suffering without complaint. And something inside Goggins clicked. That's the kind of man I want to be. But there was one huge problem. He had only 3 months to lose over 100 pounds to meet the SEAL weight requirements. Most people would laugh at that goal, but Goggins didn't. The process begins. Brutality over comfort. He completely changed everything about his life. Overnight, he woke up at 4 a.m. every day to run before work. He did cardio and weight training in the evening after work. He stopped eating junk, lived off tuna, vegetables, and protein. He taught himself to swim despite being terrified of water. He studied for the ASFOB military entrance test. Late into the night, he trained through pain. He trained through injury. He trained with no support, no encouragement, only sheer willpower. And somehow he lost the weight. He passed the test. He qualified. Callousing the mind. During this transformation, Goggins developed a core idea that defines his entire philosophy. Callous your mind. Just like hands develop calluses from repeated friction and stress, the mind becomes tougher and more resistant to pain through deliberate hardship. Most people avoid pain, and that's why they stay mentally weak. Goggins learned to embrace pain, seek discomfort, and use suffering to reshape his identity. He forced himself to suffer on purpose, because he knew that discomfort builds character. Mental discipline over motivation. This chapter also marks a shift in mindset. Goggins begins to reject the idea of motivation. Motivation fades. It's emotional. It comes and goes. But discipline. He began to rely on discipline and structure, not emotion or willpower. His workouts weren't optional. His diet wasn't negotiable. Every action had a purpose: to destroy the weak version of himself and create a new one. Key lessons from Chapter 2. Start with what you control. Goggins didn't wait to feel better. He acted while feeling miserable. Discipline beats motivation. Daily effort builds permanent change, not fleeting inspiration. Use discomfort to grow. Avoiding hardship keeps you weak. Lean into it to grow stronger. Callous your mind. Train your mental endurance the same way you train your body, with repetition, resistance, and intentional suffering. Closing thought for Chapter 2. David Goggins didn't change his life through luck. He didn't wait for help, for inspiration, or for the right moment. He changed by making a decision, then backing that decision with daily action, no matter how hard it was. He didn't just lose weight. He lost a weak version of himself. And from that suffering, a warrior was born. Chapter 3. The Accountability Mirror. Theme: brutal self-honesty, identity change, ownership. David Goggins had started his transformation. He had lost over 100 pounds. He was waking up at 4 a.m., working out 3 times a day, eating clean, and studying for the military entrance exam. But even then he knew physical change wasn't enough. To truly become someone new, he had to confront the mental lies he'd told himself for years, the excuses, the fake stories, the delusions, and that's when he created one of his most powerful tools, the accountability mirror. What is the accountability mirror? Every night, Goggins stood in front of his bathroom mirror. No filters, no distractions, no lies, just his reflection and the truth. He began writing sticky notes and placing them on the mirror. Not motivational quotes, not affirmations, but brutally honest reminders of where he stood. Things like, you're fat, you're lazy, you're lying to yourself, you're better than this. It wasn't about tearing himself down. It was about telling the truth, because the truth is the only place real change begins. Why it works. Most people avoid truth. We blame others. We justify. We protect our ego instead of fixing our flaws. Goggins refused to do that anymore. Every night, he would ask himself, did you get 100% today? Did you work out like you said you would? Did you eat clean? Did you study or did you scroll? Did you act like the person you say you want to be? If the answer was no, he called himself out, loudly, clearly. He used that mirror as his personal command center, the place where he reprogrammed his self-image. You are in danger of living a life so soft, so sweet, so fake, that it'll end in regret. Why it The power of naming the truth. One of the most powerful things Goggins says is this: tell yourself the truth, the real truth, that you're not doing enough, that you've been slacking, that you're scared, that you're soft. And once you do that, change becomes possible. Truth cuts, but it also cleans a wound. By naming his flaws out loud, he stripped them of their power. No more hiding, no more pretending. And once they were in the open, he could fix them. Rewriting identity with action. Goggins didn't just talk to himself in the mirror. He backed up his words with relentless action. When he said you're fat, he trained harder. When he said you're lazy, he worked longer. When he said you're dumb, he studied harder. Every label became a challenge, a mission to prove himself wrong. This is how you build a new identity, not with wishes, but with consistent evidence. Every day, I earn a new label. Stronger, fitter, smarter, disciplined. I wrote those on the mirror too once I earned them. Underscore, 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 underscore. Key lessons from Chapter 3. Radical honesty leads to real transformation. Change can't begin until you stop lying to yourself. Accountability is daily, not monthly. You must check in with your actions every single day. The mirror reflects results. If you don't like what you see, change what you do. Label your flaws, then attack them. Don't hide from weakness. Hunt it down. Replace it with proof. Use self-talk to take control of your narrative. What you repeat becomes what you believe. Underscore, 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 underscore. Closing thought for Chapter 3. The accountability mirror is more than a technique. It's a mindset. It's the willingness to confront the ugly parts of yourself without excuses and then do something about it. Most people avoid the mirror. Goggins stared into it, not because he liked what he saw, but because he was committed to changing it. Chapter 4, The 40% Rule. Theme, Human Potential, Mental Limits, Pushing Beyond Pain. What if you discovered that every time you said, I can't go any further, you were only 40% done? That's exactly what David Goggins realized during the most physically and mentally demanding moments of his life. When your mind is telling you you're done, you're really only 40% done. It's not just a quote. It's a principle, one that shaped his transformation and became a cornerstone of his mental toughness. Underscore, 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 underscore. The first time he learned the rule, after qualifying for Navy SEAL training, Goggins continued to push his body and mind harder than ever. But one of the most defining moments of his life came outside the military when he attempted an ultramarathon with zero training. He signed up for the San Diego One Day, a 24-hour race around a 1-mile track. To qualify for a more prestigious ultra race, he had to run 100 miles in under 24 hours. At that point, Goggins had never run more than a few miles in a row, but he showed up. No coach, no plan, no support crew. Underscore, 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 underscore. The breaking point. By mile 70, his body was shutting down. His feet were broken. His shins were splintered. His kidneys were failing. He was urinating blood. His legs were locking up. He could barely stand, let alone run. But instead of quitting, which any sane person would have done, Goggins pushed forward. He used his mind to overpower his body. Underscore, 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 where most people quit. Here's where the concept of the 40% rule comes in. According to Goggins, most people quit at 40% of their true capacity. That's the point when it hurts, when your brain starts screaming, when discomfort becomes unbearable, when the voice in your head starts begging you to stop. And if you listen to that voice, you never find out what you're really capable of. The pain you feel isn't the end. It's the beginning. That's when you get to choose. Who am I really? Underscore, 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 underscore. The role of the mind in performance. Goggins learned that the human body is almost always physically capable of doing more. It's the mind that shuts you down. Your subconscious is hardwired to protect you, to keep you comfortable, safe, and alive. But that safety instinct kicks in far too early. You're not in real danger. You're just uncomfortable. And discomfort is not a reason to stop. Underscore, 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 underscore. Training past the wall. To push past that 40% mark, Goggins developed his own systems. Positive self-talk. He reminded himself of every hard thing he had already overcome. Visualization. He imagined himself succeeding, finishing, enduring, before he actually did. The cookie jar, more in Chapter 6, he drew on past victories to remind himself of his strength. Suffering practice. He deliberately sought discomfort to build tolerance and toughness. He finished the race. Despite every reason to stop, Goggins finished the race. He ran 100 miles in under 24 hours with shattered bones and internal bleeding. Why? Because he believed in the 40% rule. Because he had trained his mind to keep going when his body gave up. Key lessons from Chapter 4. You are capable of far more than you believe. Pain is often a liar, not a limit. Your mind quits long before your body does. Train your mind to stop lying to you. The 40% rule applies everywhere. In workouts, in business, in school, in relationships. Most people never tap their full potential. Discomfort is where real growth begins. Learn to lean into the suffering. That's where your edge is built. Push through the wall. Once you break past the 40% threshold, your life opens up. Closing thought for Chapter 4. Most people never know what they're truly capable of because they quit before they've even started. David Goggins didn't quit. He pushed past the pain, the bleeding, the fear, and the limits. And in doing so, he proved a universal truth. You have so much more left in the tank, but you'll never see it unless you refuse to stop. Chapter 5, Taking Souls. Theme, dominating your mindset, outworking the opposition, psychological edge. David Goggins had made it through Hell Week once, but his body gave out. Broken kneecaps, stress fractures. He was pulled out. Most people would have given up, but not Goggins. After healing, he came back again and again. 3 Hell Weeks in 1 year. No one else had done that. But this wasn't just about finishing. This was about something much deeper. Something he calls taking souls. What does taking souls mean? Taking souls isn't about revenge or destruction. It's about psychological warfare, dominating the mindset of those around you by showing them what's possible through sheer will. It's about becoming so relentless, so driven, so unfazed by suffering that the people who doubted you begin to question their own limits. When people hate on you, underestimate you, or try to break you, smile. Then outwork them so hard they break themselves. Hell Week, the soul-taking ground. During Goggins' second Hell Week, the instructors thought they could break him. They tried everything. Freezing ocean water, sleep deprivation, log PT, mud runs, verbal humiliation, 130 hours with almost no rest. But Goggins smiled through pain. When everyone else was shivering and quitting, he was standing tall, cracking jokes, pushing harder. His instructors couldn't figure him out. He had no quit. And that's when he realized he wasn't just surviving Hell Week. He was taking souls. He was breaking the people who were trying to break him. Energy shift. From victim to warrior. In the early chapters, Goggins described himself as a broken boy, abused, insecure, overweight, barely literate. But now, something had shifted. by enduring what others couldn't, by thriving in environments built to break you. He became a psychological force, not just for himself, but for others watching him. I wanted them to see what relentless really looks like. I wanted them to see that I couldn't be broken. That's when I knew I had taken their soul. How you can take souls in your life. Taking souls is not limited to the battlefield. It applies to your job, your fitness, your relationships, your business, your life. Here's how. 1. Outwork everyone around you, not to show off, but to dominate the inner game. 2. Stay calm under pressure. When others complain, you rise. When others panic, you lead. 3. Use adversity as fuel. The more they doubt you, the more power they give you. 4. Be unshakable. Make your resilience so intimidating that it disarms your critics. 5. Make them respect you, not by talking, by doing, again and again and again. Key lessons from Chapter 5. You can turn pain into power and power into influence. Mental dominance often matters more than physical performance. People respect those who refuse to break. Taking souls is about shifting the balance of energy, owning the room through unbreakable presence. Your actions can inspire respect even from your enemies. Closing thought for Chapter 5. When people try to break you, don't fight back with anger. Fight back with discipline. Fight back with endurance. Fight back with excellence. That's how you take their soul. That's how you win, long after the fight is over. The most powerful weapon on earth is a human soul on fire. Chapter 6. The Cookie Jar. Theme: rewiring your mind with past victories. You've hit the wall. You're exhausted. You feel like you've got nothing left to give. In those moments, most people quit. But David Goggins discovered a mental weapon to push through. The cookie jar. No, not the cookie jar filled with sugar. This jar contains something far more powerful. Your victories. What is the cookie jar? The cookie jar is a mental archive, a list of all the times you overcame, endured, and survived. When Goggins faced pain or doubt, he mentally reached into the cookie jar and pulled out a moment that reminded him, you've been through worse and you made it. Every past win, no matter how small, is a cookie in that jar. Passed a hard test, survived a rough childhood, ran your first 5K, handled betrayal, made it through heartbreak, completed Hell Week, lost 100 pounds. Those aren't memories, they're fuel. Why it works. Your brain often forgets how strong you are. It panics when things get tough. But the cookie jar grounds you in truth. It says, you've been here before. You didn't die. You kept going. You got better. This builds mental calluses. It trains your brain to fight back against fear and self-doubt with facts and proof from your own life. Goggins Ultra Race Breakdown. During one of his infamous ultra-endurance races, Goggins was again running on broken bones, blood in his urine, skin falling off. Every step was agony. His body was finished, but his mind wasn't. So what did he do? He opened the cookie jar. He remembered growing up with an abusive father, learning to read on his own, losing 106 pounds in 3 months, becoming a Navy SEAL, finishing multiple Hell Weeks. Each memory was a cookie, and each one whispered, you've been here before. Keep going. And he did. Underscore, 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 underscore. How to build your own cookie jar. You don't need to be a Navy SEAL to have a cookie jar. Everyone has victories. Most just forget them. Step 1. List every time in your life you accomplished something difficult. Step 2. Include both small and big wins. Step 3. Store them mentally or write them down. Step 4. When you're in pain, doubt, or fear, reach in and pull one out. Let that reminder refuel you. Underscore, 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 underscore. Key lessons from Chapter 6. You already have proof of your power. Look back. You must revisit past victories to combat present fear. The mind forgets, so you must remind it again and again. No victory is too small to count. Every win matters. You're not weak. You're just disconnected from your strength. Underscore, 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 underscore. Closing message for Chapter 6. Life will try to make you forget how far you've come. Pain will try to convince you that you're not strong enough. But that's a lie. You've overcome. You've endured. You've survived. All you have to do is reach into the cookie jar. You must win the war in your head. The cookie jar is your ammunition. Chapter 7. The most powerful weapon. Theme. The mind as the ultimate tool for transformation. David Goggins is a man of endurance, grit, and brutal truth. He's pushed past physical limitations most people can't even imagine. But in Chapter 7, he tells us something surprising. The most powerful weapon you'll ever own is your mind. No amount of muscle, talent, or luck can replace mental mastery. In this chapter, Goggins digs deep into how he took control of his mind and how you can do the same. Underscore, 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 underscore. Rewiring the mind. Goggins wasn't born mentally tough. He was beaten as a child, labeled as slow in school, and filled with fear. But over time, he began to reshape his brain, not through motivation, but through discipline and mental reprogramming. He realized something critical. The mind is always looking for comfort. And if you don't control it, it will control you. If you allow your mind to wander to your weakness, your fears, your doubts, it will destroy you from the inside out. Underscore, 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 underscore. Creating an alter ego. One of the tools Goggins used was building a mental version of himself that was stronger than he felt. When he was in pain, when doubt crept in, he'd speak to himself as a warrior, not a victim. I created a savage within. A part of me that didn't care how I felt. A part that only cared about the mission. This wasn't lying to himself. It was training himself to focus on purpose instead of pain. You can do this too. Not by pretending to be someone you're not, but by becoming the version of yourself who refuses to quit. Underscore, 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 underscore. The accountability mirror revisited. Earlier in the book, Goggins introduced the accountability mirror. Now, in Chapter 7, he takes it further. He didn't use it just for daily goals. He used it to brainwash himself for success. Every day, he'd look in the mirror and repeat truths. You are not weak. You will finish this. Pain is part of the process. You've done harder things before. These weren't just affirmations. They were orders. Orders to the brain. Underscore, 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 underscore. Reprogramming through action. Mental strength isn't built through thinking alone. It's built through deliberate suffering. Goggins sought out pain, running ultramarathons, doing pull-up world records, sleeping 2 hours a night while training, showing up to work with broken bones, not for glory, but to train his brain to obey his will. Every time you push through, when you want to quit, you're rewriting the code in your brain. Discipline trumps motivation. Suffering rewires your mind for power. Underscore, 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 underscore. Key takeaways from Chapter 7. 1. The brain is your battlefield. Master it, or be mastered by it. 2. Motivation fades. Discipline, identity, and grit stay. 3. You can train your brain to respond to pain with action. 4. Build your alter ego, the savage version of yourself. 5. Speak to yourself with clarity and command. 6. Every hard thing you do is a message to your brain. We don't quit. Underscore, 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 underscore. Final thoughts. You already have the most powerful weapon in the world. It's not your body. It's not your bank account. It's not your circumstances. It's your mind. But it's only powerful if you train it, use it, and sharpen it every single day. You will never learn what you're capable of if you don't force yourself to go beyond what you think is possible. Chapter 8. Talent Not Required. Theme, Effort, Not Talent, is a true measure of greatness. Society loves talent. We admire gifted athletes, natural singers, child prodigies. But David Goggins doesn't buy into the myth of talent. In fact, in Chapter 8, he crushes it. Talent is a nice to have, but it's not a requirement. Goggins argues that effort, consistency, and obsession beat talent every time, because talent can make you soft, but hard work makes you unstoppable. Underscore, 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 underscore. Goggins' view on talent. Goggins admits he's not naturally gifted. He wasn't athletic as a kid. He wasn't smart in school. He wasn't fast, strong, or confident. But here's what he had: a willingness to suffer, train, and improve. That mindset, not talent, took him from being 300 pounds and insecure to a Navy SEAL, ultra-endurance athlete, and world record holder. I don't care if you're talented. I care if you're obsessed. Underscore, 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 underscore. The truth about the gifted. Goggins points out that many talented people never realize their potential because they rely on ease, not effort. They start strong, but when things get hard, they fold. Why? Because they've never been tested. They've never needed to dig deep. And when pain shows up, talent is enough. When you're talented and life finally punches you in the mouth, what do you do then? Underscore, 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 underscore. Obsession versus passion. This chapter also introduces a key Goggins concept. Obsession beats passion. Passion is fleeting. It comes and goes. Obsession stays. It drives you to wake up at 4 a.m., train for hours, and repeat daily without excuses. Most people fear obsession. They think it's unhealthy. But Goggins flips that idea. If you want to be great at anything, you must be obsessed. Underscore, 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 underscore. Story. Pull-up world record attempt. In this chapter, Goggins shares the story of his pull-up world record attempt. It was a brutal challenge. Over 4,000 pull-ups in less than 24 hours. He failed twice. His hands tore open. He couldn't hold the bar. He couldn't sleep, but he kept coming back. Not because he was talented, but because he was obsessed with beating his own limits. On the third try, he broke the world record, not with skill, not with luck, but with grit, strategy, and suffering. Underscore. The blueprint. How to replace talent with drive. 1. Start with honesty. Admit where you are weak. 2. Set a clear goal, something that scares you. 3. Create a plan. Break it down step by step. 4. Outwork everyone. Train longer, harder, and smarter. 5. Eliminate excuses. Don't let anything slide. 6. Stay obsessed. Remind yourself every day why you started. You don't need natural ability, just unnatural discipline. Key lessons from Chapter 8. Talent is overrated. Work ethic is everything. Obsession is a path to excellence. Failing is part of the process. Don't fear it. Be the hardest worker in any room. Let your scars be your fuel. Final message. You don't need to be gifted to be great. You don't need talent to transform. What you need is the grind, the will, and the mindset to keep going long after others have quit. Greatness isn't something you're born with. It's something you earn through suffering, sacrifice, and sweat. Chapter 9. Uncommon amongst uncommon. Theme. Standing out in a world full of excellence. Most people never push themselves past average. A few break through and become elite, special forces, pro athletes, top performers. But Goggins wasn't satisfied with being elite. He wanted something more. I didn't want to just be great. I wanted to be uncommon amongst the uncommon. This chapter dives into what it truly means to rise, even above excellence, and what kind of mindset is required to do that. The SEAL teams and the mental divide. David Goggins became a Navy SEAL, one of the toughest military roles on Earth. Even in that environment, where strength and discipline are everywhere, he noticed a difference. Some SEALs were coasting. They had reached the top and stopped climbing. Not Goggins. I saw people with world-class skills and average mindsets. I refused to be one of them. So he made a vow to keep training harder, pushing further, suffering more, even when there was no one watching, because the mission wasn't to impress others. The mission was to never settle. The trap of comfort at the top. Once you become the best in a group, you often slow down. You start comparing yourself to others instead of your own potential. Goggins calls this the elite comfort zone. He saw it in the military. He saw it in ultra racing. He saw it in life. People who used to be savages, now satisfied, slowing down. I trained like I was still in Hell Week, because life doesn't stop testing you. Being a standout in a room of standouts. Goggins didn't care about being better than average. He wanted to stand out in a room full of champions. To do that, he trained when others rested. He studied when others celebrated. He endured when others gave up. He calls this the next level of mental toughness. The level where you're not chasing greatness anymore. You're living it every day, regardless of who's watching. The Story: Army Ranger School. After becoming a Navy SEAL, Goggins volunteered for Army Ranger School, an elite program that most people would avoid after already achieving SEAL status. Why? Because he wanted to test himself again. Even there, surrounded by the best soldiers in the country, Goggins pushed to be number one. He earned Enlisted Honor Man, the highest award given in the class. I wasn't there for the badge. I was there for the suffering, the grind, the next level. Underscore, 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 underscore. The mental shift from competing to mastery. Average people compare down. They feel good by outperforming the weak. High achievers compare across. They compete with peers. The uncommon amongst uncommon compare up. They compete with who they could become. You can't reach your best by being better than someone else. You get there by being better than your yesterday self. Underscore, 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 underscore. How to become uncommon amongst uncommon. 1. Stop competing with others and compete with your own potential. 2. Set internal standards that never drop. 3. Train and prepare as if you're behind, even when you're ahead. 4. Avoid the trap of recognition. Pursue self-mastery instead. 5. Embrace hardship voluntarily. Seek out resistance daily. Underscore, 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 underscore. Key lessons from Chapter 9. Excellence is not enough. Growth is endless. Never let your success become your ceiling. True greatness requires obsession. Even at the top, you're either getting better or getting worse. There is no standing still. To be uncommon amongst uncommon, you must love the process more than the praise. Underscore, 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 underscore. Final message. The world doesn't need more talented people. It needs more relentless people. People who show up, suffer, and grow daily with or without recognition. Be the one who keeps climbing when everyone else has stopped. That's how you become uncommon amongst uncommon. Chapter 10. The Empowerment of Failure. Theme: turning defeat into power. Failure. For most people, it's the end of the road. Embarrassing. Demoralizing. Something to avoid at all costs. But for David Goggins, failure is fuel. Failure actually makes you stronger if you're brave enough to face it. In Chapter 10, Goggins challenges one of society's biggest misconceptions, that failing means you're not good enough. He flips the script. Failure isn't weakness. It's your greatest teacher. Underscore, 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 underscore. Society's flawed relationship with failure. We live in a world that hides failure. We celebrate winning, perfection, smooth success. But in doing so, we forget how important loss is. We don't learn much when everything goes right. Real growth happens when we stumble, fall, and are forced to rebuild ourselves. Goggins exposes this truth through raw personal experience and brutal honesty. Each failure is a test, and each test pushes you closer to your limit. That's where transformation lives. Underscore, 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 underscore. Goggins' personal failures. Throughout the book, Goggins talks about his triumphs, becoming a Navy SEAL, running ultramarathons, setting world records. But Chapter 10 focuses on the other side. He failed the ASVAB military test multiple times. He dropped out of Air Force pararescue training due to his fear of water. He failed twice to complete the pull-up world record. He faced injuries, surgeries, and brutal races where he didn't finish. Each time, He could have quit, but he didn't, because failure wasn't a dead end. It was a challenge. Underscore, 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 underscore. The accountability mirror. Embracing the truth. Goggins introduces a powerful tool, the accountability mirror. Every time he failed, he looked himself in the eye, literally, and told the truth. You're not good enough yet. So go back, train harder, get better. This wasn't negative self-talk. It was brutal self-honesty, and it gave him direction. He didn't blame the system. He didn't make excuses. He studied his failures like a blueprint and used them to build his next level. Underscore, 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 underscore. Story: Leadville Trail 100 failure. One of Goggins' biggest failures was a Leadville Trail 100 ultramarathon in Colorado, a race known for extreme altitude and terrain. He was underprepared. His body broke down. He had to drop out, something he hated doing. But instead of letting it destroy him, he studied that loss. He analyzed his nutrition, pacing, training mindset. He trained harder for future races. He came back stronger and smarter. That failure led to future victories. Underscore, 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 underscore. Why most people fear failure. Most people aren't afraid of failure itself. They're afraid of how failure makes them feel. Embarrassed, exposed, uncertain. Goggins believes this fear is a trap. You either own failure or it owns you. He encourages you to lean into that discomfort. Make failure your playground, not your prison. Underscore, 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 underscore. Practical challenge. Build a failure resume. Goggins gives a practical task in this chapter. Write down every failure in your life. Not to feel bad, but to study it. What caused a failure? What could you have done better? What lessons did you ignore? Where did you give up too early? This list becomes your training manual for growth. Underscore, 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 underscore. Key lessons from Chapter 10. Failure isn't the enemy. It's your greatest weapon. The only true failure is refusing to try again. Accountability is the foundation of growth. Honest reflection is how you turn failure into progress. The path to mastery is paved with setbacks. Underscore, 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 underscore. Final message. If you want to build an unbreakable mind, you must learn how to fail forward. Each mistake, each fall, each shortcoming is an invitation to rise again, smarter and stronger. The most powerful people on earth are those who fail the most and never stop moving forward. Chapter 11. What if? Theme. The pain of untapped potential. Most people die without ever knowing who they could have become. They take the easy path. They listen to fear. They settle. And when their time is up, one question haunts them. What if I had tried harder? What if I had given it everything? In this final chapter, David Goggins leaves us with the ultimate challenge. To live in such a way that, at the end of your life, there are no what-ifs left behind. Underscore, 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 underscore. Goggins' vision of the afterlife. Goggins paints a powerful metaphor. He imagines standing before God or a higher power at the end of his life. And this higher power shows him a list. On it, Navy SEAL, ultra-endurance athlete, author, motivational speaker, pull-up world record holder, inspiration to millions. But here's the catch. In this vision, Goggins never became any of those things, because this list was not who he was. It was who he could have been if he had pushed himself to the limit. That vision scared me more than anything. I never wanted to meet the man I could have been and fall short. Underscore. The pain of regret. This chapter isn't about physical suffering or military stories. It's about emotional pain, the kind that lingers when you know you held back. Goggins believed that regret is the worst pain in life. Not failure, not loss, regret. It stays with you because you know it was preventable. You know you chose comfort over courage, and there's no way to go back. The mission, leave no potential behind. Goggins lives with one goal: to find out how far I can go, how strong I can become, how deep I can dig. That's why he runs hundreds of miles. That's why he speaks hard truths. That's why he keeps pushing long after success. Because to him, life is a race against his own potential. The mission is simple: die with nothing left in the tank. Call to action. Ask yourself the hard questions. Goggins challenges every reader to confront themselves. What are you truly capable of? What dreams have you silenced? What talents are you hiding? What excuses are holding you back? The answers may be uncomfortable, but they are the first step toward a better, stronger, more fulfilled version of you. Don't aim for average. This chapter is a rejection of mediocrity. It's easy to coast through life, to do the bare minimum, to stay safe, invisible, and comfortable. But Goggins reminds us, greatness is not for the chosen few. It's for the ones willing to suffer, grow, and keep moving, no matter what. The final lesson. At the end of your life, you will ask yourself, did I give it my all? And the worst answer you could possibly hear is, you had so much more in you. Final message. You only get one shot at this life. Don't waste it living small. Don't waste it fearing discomfort. Don't waste it chasing ease. Push, stretch, fight, bleed, give everything. Be the person you were meant to be, not the person you settled for. David Goggins proved that pain can shape greatness, if you're willing to face it. If this hit you, subscribe to Beyond the Cover for more powerful book summaries that challenge and inspire.